Anna Elizabeth Michel, born 21st of September 1952, was a German woman who underwent a botched Catholic exorcism that resulted in her death. Her death has also been the inspiration for the horror films The Exorcist and the 2005 film The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Born as Anna Elizabeth Michel in the 21st of September 1952 in Liebelfing, Bavaria, West Germany, to a Roman Catholic family, Michel was brought up along with 3 other sisters by her parents, Joseph and Anna. She was very religious and went to Mass twice a week, and when she was 16, she suffered a severe convulsion and was diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy. In 1973, Michel graduated and joined the University of Würzburg. Her classmates later described her as withdrawn and very religious. In June 1970, Michel suffered a 3rd seizure at the psychiatric hospital where she'd been staying. She was prescribed anticonvulsive drugs for the first time, including phenytoin, which didn't alleviate the problem. She began seeing devil faces at various times of the day, and by 1973, she suffered from depression and began hallucinating while praying, and she complained about hearing voices telling her that she was damned and would rot in hell. Michel's treatment in the psychiatric hospital didn't improve her health, and her depression worsened. Long-term treatment didn't help either, and she grew increasingly frustrated with medical intervention and taking pharmaceutical drugs for 5 years. Also, Michel became intolerant of Christian sacred places and objects, such as the crucifix. Exorcism in Christianity is the practice of casting out demons from a person they are believed to have been possessed. The person performing the exorcism, known as the exorcist, is often a member of the Christian church. The exorcist often invokes God, Jesus, or several different angels and archangels to intervene with the exorcism. Christian exorcists most commonly believe that the authority given to them by the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, known as the Trinity, is the source of their ability to cast out demons. In general, people considered to be possessed are not regarded as evil in themselves, nor wholly responsible for their actions, because possession is considered to be an unwilling manipulation by a demon resulting in harm to self or others. Therefore, practitioners regard exorcism as more of a cure than a punishment. In Catholic dogma, exorcism is sacramental but not sacrament. Unlike baptism or confession, and unlike a sacrament, exorcism's integrity and efficacy doesn't depend on a rigid use of unchanging formula or an ordered sequence of prescribed actions. Its efficacy depends on 2 elements: authorization from a valid illicit church authorities and the faith of the exorcist. After her treatment, Michel would go to San Domenico, Italy with a family friend who regularly organized Christian pilgrimages. Her escort concluded that she was suffering from demonic possession because she was unable to walk past a crucifix and refused to drink the water of a Christian holy spring. Both she and her family, as well as her community, became convinced of her possession and consulted several priests asking for an exorcism. The priests declined and recommended a continuation of her medical treatment, and informed the family that exorcisms required the bishop's permission. In the Catholic Church, official approval for an exorcism is given when the person strictly meets a set of criteria. Then they are considered to be suffering from a possession and under demonic control. Intense dislike for religious objects and supernatural powers are some of the first indications. A priest named Ernest Alt met the family, and on seeing Anna, declared that she didn't look like an epileptic, and that he did not see her having seizures. Alt believed that she was suffering from demonic possession and urged the local bishop to allow an exorcism. In a letter to Alt in 1975, Michel wrote, "I am nothing. Everything about me is vanity. What should I do? Have I to improve? You pray for me?" And also once told him, "I want to suffer for other people, but this is so cruel." The priest Ernest Alt had an assistant named Renz who performed the first session of exorcism on Michel on September 24th. After this session, Michel began talking increasingly about dying to atone for the wayward youth of the day and apostate priests of the modern church, and she refused to eat towards the end. At this point, her parents stopped consulting doctors on her request and relied solely on the exorcism rites. There were a total of 67 exorcism sessions, 1 or 2 each week, lasting up to 4 hours. They were performed over about 10 months from 1975 to 1976. On July 1st, 1976, Michel died in her home. The autopsy report stated that the cause was malnutrition and dehydration due to being in a semi-starvation state for almost a year while the rites of the exorcism were performed. She weighed 68 pounds, suffering from broken knees due to continuous genuflections, and she was unable to move without assistance, and was reported to have contracted pneumonia. After an investigation, the state prosecutor maintained that Michel's death could have been prevented even 1 week before she died. In 1976, the state charged Michel's parents and the priests Ernest Alt and Arnold Renz with negligent homicide. During the case, Michel's body was exhumed, and the tapes of the exorcisms were played to the court. Her parents were defended by Heinrich Schmidt-Lenschner, a lawyer sponsored by the church. The state recommended that no involved parties be jailed. Instead, the recommended sentence for the priest was a fine, while the prosecution concluded that the parents should be exempt from punishment, as they'd suffered enough. This event has been retold in popular culture, via the cinema and literature, so much so that people have forgotten what these stories base their plots off of, and people have come to accept that exorcism and the ritual rites that follow are only to be found in fiction.
Der Rosenkranzmonat, weißt du ja, ne?
Ja,
Rosenkranz.
aber die wenigsten beten.
Die wenigsten.
Ja. Und in der Kirche wird am allerwenigsten gebetet, weil die Herrn Pfarrer ja das für unmodern halten.
Ja.
Ja.
Alle?
Fast. Die sind ja so blöd, wenn sie eine Ahnung hätten. Ah!
Warum betest du den Rosenkranz?
Warum?
Ja, warum?
Weil
Gib mir deine Tafel.
eine. Nein, ich sag's nicht.
Guck mir diese Rede.
Weil eine starke. Halt's Maul. Ja.
Weil eine starke Waffe ist. Gegen Satan
Ja.
und alle Dämonen.
Ja, gegen uns. Ich muss es dir sagen.
Der Rosenkranz ist eine gewaltige Macht gegen
Ja.
Satan und alle Dämonen.
Aber das glauben nicht viele. Die halten es hier nur volles Weiberzeug.
I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, let me know in the comments down below, and leave a like if you liked the video. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and subscribe so you can get more content like this, and if you're old, make sure you hit that bell so you can get my notification every time. If you have any horror stories recommendations, please place them in the comments down below. I'm open to almost any topic, and I really appreciate your input. And as always, we gotta thank the Patreon supporters, so thank you to Horrorstar, Maria, The Caustic, Simon Possum, Pro Cookie, and Finny. Without their support, this channel wouldn't run as good as it does. If you want to support the channel, there's 2 links in the description, one to my merch store and one to the Patreon. Both dollars go right into the channel, just to make sure this runs as smoothly as possible. And as always, stay zesty.